Dive on it.
This is twice now the Celtics have been first to the floor. They try to
Save with Horford. Unbelievable. Boston first to the floor. So good. Brown fakes, fires up the three. Bang! Tatum dives on the floor. Everybody dives. Jaylen Brown with the flush. Blocked by Porzingis. He's doing it all. Tatum spinning, driving, layup. Got it. Washington drives. Blocked by White. Oh, what a block from Derek White.
Wayne Spooney here with First to the Floor, and I'm with my guy, Jake Eisenberg, who is currently in the midst of a Herculean effort of watching sports, and he woke up at, 1 a.m. this morning?
Yeah, so I got screwed by the clocks.
Yeah.
The game started an hour earlier, and so they started at 1 a.m., but I knew that Jets-Vikings was on at 12:30, so I got up at 12:30 anyway, chucked on some Justin Jefferson. Game starts at 1, but then our pod was also an hour later now, the day back the other way. So, it got to get up an hour earlier and stay up an hour later. But this is for the love of the game, dude. That's
right, baby.
I love different shapes of balls being thrown, being shot into baskets, whatever it is. I'm here. I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. And can I just say, Jake, after your performance on Twitter these last couple months, if Greeny's the final boss of Celtics Twitter, you are the boss you have to fight to get to the final boss. You're getting there, man. You're elevating your game and you're
That's
all
right.
over people. I saw an epic battle you had today with someone I shall not name. Well, with Swipa and somebody who was hating on JB, dude. You were just fucking firing from the hip all over the place. I love it.
It's funny. I've when I first got on Twitter, that's kind of what I was like, and then I reined it in because I was just like, you can't be doing this all day. It's definitely come back, and now with more followers, it's led to more fireworks. So, man, you can't be saying dumb shit around me these days. You know?
He will get your ass, and
That's
I
right.
will appreciate it from afar, and occasionally throw in a stat that proves your point once in a while. All right, so the Celtics fucking obliterated Denver. I mean, it was basically a 30-point win. They cruised the entire game for the most part. It was 69-63 at one point, and after that, it was all Celtics. I think kind of the big story for me, this goes for the first game too. We didn't really talk about JB much after the first game just because he was kind of quietly awesome, like he often is. He was on a mission today, dude. When he had those post-ups and one against Murray where he just abused Jamal Murray. He was like, oh shit, this is the new Jaylen Brown. His confidence is so high right now.
Abused Jamal Murray. He flexed on Saric. Got a layup. It should have been an and one. This version of Jaylen Brown, man, it doesn't even matter if he's making threes anymore.
No.
He's just so dominant in the mid-range and getting to the rim. He even went 3 for 4 from the free throw line. I was saying today, remember you just said you couldn't go online or you couldn't listen to a podcast for 10 seconds this time last year without hearing a Jaylen Brown can't dribble, a Jaylen Brown can't go left joke. Mm-hmm. And now it's the complete opposite. And everyone has just been like, okay, I guess he's just going to be a top 15 guy now. And he's picked up right where he left off. 21 points. What was he? 21 points, 8 for 16.
16, yeah.
Just he had picked up a couple of fouls today, but yeah, man, he's just dominant and the physicality.
Yeah.
He's just in a place now. LeBron got to a point. He was always so athletic, springy wise, but then he kind of got to Cleveland and he had the extra weight and girth and mass and just took his ability to kind of dominate people. I remember in that Celtics Cavs series in Tatum's rookie year, LeBron goes coast to coast and Marcus Morris tries to grab him around the shoulders and and he still finishes the and one. That's kind of where he's getting to. I'm excited to see him getting out in transition. Had an awesome dunk in the first game as well. He's just enforcing his physicality on the game. And this team, he's kind of that guy now. He's the one who brings the brings the ice. Is he ice or is he fire? I forget which one.
I think he's fire, right? Because he called himself El Fuego, didn't he?
Okay,
and
yeah.
I think that's like Eric Weiss's tag in the playback as well. So, he's the tone setter, right? Like he's
that's
the
what I'm
dude.
looking for.
He's like Tatum. I feel like is the on-court quarterback, especially offensively. Jaylen is the emotional leader, and I think they complement each other perfectly. But yeah, I once compared Jaylen Brown to like Adrian Peterson style, where it's like he's not running around you, he's running through you, and like you don't want to hit him because it hurts more than him when you hit him, and like it's just like. He used to just like be like that pure, unfettered, raw athleticism that just kind of like exploded in random directions. And sometimes it was incredible and sometimes it wasn't. Now he just channels it so perfectly. And yeah, it's like exactly what LeBron eventually did. And I think it extends your career too, because you're going to lose a step, man. But that old man strength, that just keeps getting better. So, like, he doesn't even need to blow by guys anymore. Like, Murray probably never was stronger than Jaylen Brown. But now he makes him look like a toddler. Like, he was hanging off of him and could do absolutely nothing about it. And, like, his takes to the rim, I feel like once he gets his shoulder to shoulder with you, you're fucked. Like, there's nothing you can do. You can't stop him. And he's still explosive as hell. I don't want to say he's not.
Oh, no.
Like, like
he
his
got
first
more
step
explosive
is just,
between like last season. There was a period there, like you remember he had like a couple of hamstring injuries, and like he just had a period where, and then like he got stuffed by the rim. I remember like he just like wasn't quite young Jaylen where he was just like flying, and he came in last season after the disastrous end to the Miami series, and from last year to now. He took his conditioning to a whole new level. Like, I don't even know what to expect from him this year. Like, I'm guessing, like, obviously a continuation of what we saw in the playoffs defensively and what we saw in the regular season, especially in, like, the second half. Is it just going to be, like, from the jump we're getting that version of Jaylen? And is he going to evolve again? Because, like, at this point, right, there's been a couple of years where he's just maybe gotten a tiny bit better. But last year was, like, definitely one of the bigger leaps, especially in the later part of his career. But he's had like 2 or 3 or 4 like really noticeable jumps every year. And I'm like, what does that even look like this season? I'm not saying I'm predicting it. I mean, I kind of got myself into shit last year for saying that I think he's at his ceiling and hopefully he cleans up the handle and the decision making, but it seems unlikely. And he just owned me, and I couldn't be happier to be owned by Jaylen Brown. But like, we were talking about in the playback, me and Aaron Weiss, like he gets the shoulder into you on the baseline, and because he's so wide now, people can't contest it because he's just like, how are you supposed to get around him? And he doesn't even jump. He just kind of like turns and fades, and he's just money from the mid range. But man, he looks like ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, the big leap this year will be defensively, because my concern with Jaylen, everybody, it's not like I was unique in this take, was like the turnovers were really what was holding him back in a lot of ways. And it held him back not only because he turned it over, but also I think at times it would like get in his head and he wouldn't be as aggressive as he needs to be. He's he's the most aggressive he's ever been now, and he's still not turning the ball over. 3 turnovers in 2 games, which is absolutely nothing for a dude on his volume. And I know he only played like 25 minutes each game, but he was not shy. He took 18 shots today, or 16 shots, I mean. So it's not like he was, coasting in those 20 minutes. But I think, the defense will probably come and go a little bit, sort of like what Tatum does in the regular season. But he's just such a better on-ball defender. He's still not perfect off the ball, but that was a huge leap last year. I think he has another leap he can take, and then you combine that with the awesome on-ball defense. And
All NBA should be a lock. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say he's starting to remind me of like late Spurs Kawhi, where he's not the playmaker yet, and Jaylen's not that good at defense yet, obviously, and he never will be. That Kawhi might be the best wing defender we've ever seen. He's certainly up there, but it's that type of like just high volume, efficient scoring, absolute nemesis on ball defender. and just super athletic, just like that dose of athleticism when you're running the break, or he had that awesome block in game 1. Like, that's just like pure athleticism plays. It gets your team hyped up, saves you points, or scores you easy baskets. That's kind of like the archetype. He's like the worst version of that, like a step down.
Like, we talked about Jordan and Pippen as far as like greatest duos ever, and Tatum and Jaylen like being one of the greatest duos. Like, they just are going to be that. Jaylen's going to get a lot closer to Pippen than Tatum's going to get to Jordan, which is not a slight on Tatum, obviously. But, like, I think that's probably a good comp too, right? Like, Pippen was just like this insane physical wing guy as well. Yeah, defensively, but again, we didn't see him get back cut anywhere near as much last year. But yeah, man, very excited for Jaylen. I want to say, before we move on to someone else, join the Patreon. We're doing a Patreon episode tomorrow. We're doing the Eastern Conference over-unders, Eastern Conference preview, and we also are going to start our fantasy basketball league soon. So if you want to be in the fantasy basketball league, you're going to have to sign up to the Patreon. We obviously want to draft before the season starts, which is in a couple of weeks. So join the Patreon. We're going to be doing the Eastern Conference over-unders tomorrow. We're going to talk about a bunch of teams, obviously in the Eastern Conference. But yeah, get on the Patreon, and back to you, Spoony.
Yeah, and it'll be, when you go to sign up on Patreon, it'll tell you which level gets you access to the fantasy league. The spots are first come, first serve. So, it's not full yet, although we do have a decent number of people signing up. Yeah, for sure. So check that out, please. And I probably should have promoted that off the top, so that's my bad.
That's okay.
Thank you,
this
Jay.
is good. We got him in. Yeah. We got him in with
That's
real
right.
content.
Yeah.
And then we hit him with the Patreon ad.
It's a lot harder to skip 30 seconds when it's in the middle of what we're talking about. Damn right. All right. So yeah, where do you want to go next?
Well,
I mean,
okay.
Go ahead.
Tatum shot the ball well again, which
Yep.
is nice. So that, coming in, right, that's like one of everyone's biggest things. So he ends up going 6 for 14 across 2 games here, and the shot looks good. He is shooting 43% on the season. If I could literally ask for one number from any person, that's the number. Like, can you imagine if he does that, he will probably at least get close to winning the MVP. I thought he was really good. He had I saw you tweet about it as well. He had the one play. It was like the 2 for 1, and it was like he was lining up the pull up 3, and he drove to the rim. I wished he would have finished that layup, but he got fouled and went to the line. Is there potentially going to be an evolution from Tatum from that perspective? Because we all know, we sit there and we watch, here comes the pull-up 3, and it's not always a bad thing. But the fact that he played in the NBA Finals and it was like, we just win every time because I'm just driving to the rim over and over and over again. Is there going to be like a light bulb thing that kind of went off when it was like, if I just do that, that's going to be more effective? I wonder, because it was preseason, not really a reason for him to do that.
Yeah, so part of me thinks like he probably won't do that in the regular season, but I mean, his game is just kind of slowly evolving into that naturally, kind of, because he's gotten so much bigger, he's gotten so much stronger, and he's like getting guarded by bigger dudes that he can go by easier. So I wonder if that's a little bit of it too. Jay, I hope so. I hope that's what he does. Like, he needs the pull up in his game. I think Joe wants him taking pull ups. That's fine. But there were certainly times throughout his career where he was way overly reliant on it. And like last year was a pretty good balance, but if he just is like 7's the number and he's driving 15 times a game, he was at like 9 a game or something like that last year. Not a small amount, but certainly not an incredible amount. Like Shea was mid-20s, and I think Tatum averaged around 20 or 25 in the finals, which is a bananas number. That's a ton of drives. So I think I think the big thing will be like the late clock execution, whether it's end of a quarter, end of a shot clock, end of a game, or the entire time in the playoffs. That's when we're going to see it. Is like, I know I don't have to settle anymore. Like, I can get to wherever I want on the court, and I just got to go a little bit earlier so I can actually pass the ball when it's there instead of waiting until the absolute last second and I got to put up like a BS fadeaway or something like that has absolutely no prayer. So I think it's there. I think it'll be kind of subtle just because he's going to coast a little bit in the regular season.
Yeah,
yeah, right, exactly.
Good. So playmaking, it just looks like it's coming really easy to him now. And he had 5 assists today in 19 minutes. He had 4 assists in 23 minutes last game. He was at 4.9 assists per game last season, 5.6 in the playoffs, but similar like per 36, around 5 assists. I would love for him to get to 6 or 7 this year. It feels like a big ask because they just move the ball so much, and it's just like he finds guys on the short roll and then the ball gets kicked around like hockey assist style. So I'm not sure he's going to have a high enough usage time of possession to get to like 7 seems probably unrealistic. But is it now? It ticks up one more time because he just looks like so comfortable in this offense now. The system and the machine seems to be rolling like so easily. Like Drew and Derek roaming around the dunker spot and Tatum at the head of the snake initiating, creating advantages. It's like I just wonder if that's an indication at all. Obviously, small sample size here, but like those are really high assist numbers in a short amount of minutes.
Yeah, and like the way he's passing the ball is so beautiful. Like he's throwing darts cross court. Sometimes he's not even dribbling. He's just like reading the defense. He's like, this guy's open. Ping. Like he had one to Hauser where he drove, got cut off on the block, and then like all the way across court to the other corner. That was just like perfect on the money in the shooting pocket. The defenders had no chance to close out because he gave it so much pace. So I mean, that to me for Tatum, that's the step that if he keeps what he did in these past playoffs and especially the finals with the playmaking, he's going to average 7 assists a game with this team around him because they're going to score a ton of points and they're going to make a lot of shots. So for me, it's always come down a little bit to just like a willingness to pass for Tatum. It's always kind of felt like he's never quite like gotten that balance right, and in the finals he absolutely did, and that's when it mattered most. So whatever, who cares in the regular season a little bit, but I would love to see Tatum just be like, I'm gonna cut out 2 field goal attempts a game, and I'm just gunning for 6-7 assists a game. Like that's what I want to average this year, just to get him even more comfortable as a playmaker. But yeah, man, like he's so mature now with the way he reads the court. It's like, it's so fun to watch him just like pick people apart with his passing. And then like, sometimes I almost forget, like he had one layup where he just like looked like he was going to set somebody up, and then he just like blew by a dude and had like a nice layup. And it's like, oh yeah, he also averages 27 a game too. Like he's pretty good at that too.
It is a funny progression, like what he's kind of turning into. Like he's now becoming more of a point forward than like if you go back to his like rookie season, second year, it's like we're gonna have this apex scorer, like the modern version of Carmelo Anthony scoring wise, who's still rebounding and defending. But then like the bubble was kind of the first flashes, where he's like is the point guard essentially of the team, and it's just been growing and growing and growing, and part of it's just been by necessity. Like Marcus was the other guy, but like they need him to be the point guard really. Like Derek White's a good passer. Drew Holiday's obviously been a point guard, but he's none of these guys are Chris Paul, Trae Young type, point guard playmakers. And so it's been by necessity, but it's been great for his development because then it's like now he can play any role you want him to. You go back to the Olympics in Japan, if down the line something happens where they make a trade and for whatever reason it's like whatever, Halliburton ends up coming to the Celtics, for example, Tatum could easily slot into like this apex, like a Devin Booker, but like a giant 2-guard scoring role as well. But it's just like on this team, you need him to be like your main ball handler, and he's getting better and better at it.
Yeah, for sure. And like it, for some reason, that 6-7 number, even if it's 1 assist a game, is really not that big of a deal when it comes to winning or losing. But for me personally,
cool.
Exactly. It looks so cool having like 9 in 6 next to 27.
Just get to 6.6 so we can round up to,
7,
26, 9 and 7, dude. That's That's beautiful.
That's
LeBron-esque.
monster. Yeah,
LeBron-esque,
it really
dude.
is.
He's getting there.
He really is, man. It's crazy. And the defense is obviously awesome too. So where I wanted to go next is you wrote the bench roll power rankings, essentially who's going to steal those 600 Oshae Brissett minutes. And I haven't read it yet, but I think you had Jordan Walsh number 1, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And I think he's definitely, after today, I don't think he did anything to get knocked off the number 1 spot. And I think he might have a legitimate role this year. I think they could probably cover those minutes with Hauser and Pritchard in some ways, but I think Jordan Walsh might actually get 600 minutes this year. The way Joe's using him is as the 9th guy, and that's kind of shocking. But he's he looks pretty damn good. I thought he was fine today. He was totally fine.
Yeah, dude. So, okay, we have to run this voicemail. So if you're in the Discord, and one of the Bus One boys, you have the ability to leave us voicemails in the Discord. And we got this message after game 1 from...
What's up, gents? Best podcast in the world. Here's my take. Here's my frustration with this whole... it's really just Jordan Walsh who I'm frustrated with. I'm not going to lie. I hate to say it. I think we should just be done with him. Stop trying to try anything. He's a 2nd-round pick. He's got all the physical attributes in the world. And as far as a mindset type of thing, and as far as showing anything over a span of 2 games, barely even 1 game, as far as shooting, dribbling, playmaking, anything. I mean, he has not shown a single thing. I like him on defense. That's about it. I think he's got good instincts there. I know some guys on the pod don't necessarily agree. I think defensively, I have no worries about him. I think he's great. I think he'll have great potential. I love his size versatility, but everything else, my goodness, there's been nothing, absolute nothing. And I think if we saw this guy on the bench of any other team, we would be like, oh, this guy just sucks. That guy just sucks. It's just that simple. I hate to say it, guys. I'm trying to take the emotion out of it. It's coming out of pain and frustration and hopes that he would be good, but I kind of think he's done, and I don't care that he's 20 years old or that people are like, oh, he's only 19 or 20. How often do you see 19 or 20-year-olds drafted in the 2nd round just get way better in a bit later part of the career? They usually just end up sucking.
So okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I get it. I get it. I just think the expectations for him need to be lowered. All he needs to do is make 35% of his threes, and he's gonna be a decent 10th man in the NBA, because his defense is fine. I don't think it's great right now, and I think he's got more to his offensive game than that. I respect the
Rondo of real estate.
Yeah, thank you. The Rondo of real estate.
We love you
opinion.
in the Discord, and this is the thing.
Thank you, Rondo of real estate. This is what we want.
Is great. This is perfect.
Yeah. This is what we want. Is voicemails like this. But I think Walshy's looked really comfortable offensively. The shots didn't go in today, but they went in the first game. He had that nice little half post up kind of drive thing today that he finished, and he's been pretty solid defensively. So, and he moves the ball. He's just a smart ball mover.
That's my favorite thing about him. I think it's clear to me that if you threw him out there, he's able to keep this Celtics offensive machine moving. And that's all you need to be able to do. It's Luke Cornett, and this is what we've been talking about. Luke Cornett's not just become capable. He's accentuating the offense now. That's how good that Luke Cornett has become, playing off this incredibly talented team. And I think Jordan Walsh, man, I really like his activity on offense. I think early in the first game, he was a lot of running to the corner and not doing much. And as he got more comfortable, he's setting screens. They used him a little bit on the short roll. Mm-hmm. And we saw more of that today. I like the way that he's just getting amongst it offensively, and he just makes quick decisions. I like what he gives you on offense just by grease the wheels, and he's a willing shooter. So I also I had a look at the shooting stats from last year. The G League looks like they've updated their website this year. So it actually looks like you can do per game, per 100 possessions, totals and stuff, which is cool. So between the playoffs, regular season, and showcase last year, Walsh shot 274 threes and hit 35% of them. If he's able to hit 35% of his threes, even 33%, that's fine. Oshae Brissett, I know it's for his first year.
Yeah.
And it's And if he's going to play spot minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, can you drive closeouts and move the ball? That's all he really needs to do. Defensively, definitely think there's some work to be done, but he had a really nice deflection like on a pick and roll coverage today. I really like it. I also it made me that voicemail made me like go look into like second round picks and like their journeys and stuff like that. Like obviously you've got the biggest, most successful examples: Jokic, Draymond Green, Chris Middleton, IT, stuff like that. But examples of like guys that are young or like take a little while to get going, like Isaiah Hartenstein, 20. He was drafted when he was 20, 43rd overall pick. Drafted by the Rockets, moved to the Nuggets, to the Cavs, to the Clippers was the first time he really like found a home and got that. And then he went to the Knicks when he got a real contract, and now he's on the Thunder. Gary Trent drafted at 20 years old, 37th overall, kind of stunk his first year, and then developed into a good player. Vanderbilt drafted at 19, 41st overall, traded to the T-Wolves in his second year. Like Melton, 20 years old, traded from Phoenix to Memphis. Like Isaiah Joe. Cut by the Sixers and now found a role. Like finding guys in the 37th overall pick to become rotation players for good teams is hard. Yeah. But like it can be done, and that's why we're excited about it, I think. And you want to give him chances is because like it can have a really positive impact on your roster. But also I think you can see the tools, and also the youth is a good thing. Like the fact that he's shown, I think, a little bit of growth and development already at 20. I really want to see what he looks like when playing with the other guys, just for like just an extended run. I don't know if we're gonna get it, but like he's just gonna get so much more comfortable and confident. And I want to see. I feel like we're gonna see it.
Yeah, I think so too, obviously, but we're optimistic homers in a lot of ways, Jake. But I will
say, who else
is
it going to be?
Yeah, well, right, yeah, the Rondo of real estate, like, you're not wrong in that, like, he is a very forgettable guy if he's on another team.
Yes, of course.
Obviously, we're going to hyperanalyze the guys on the Celtics, and I'm not expecting him to, like, blossom into a starter. We're talking about, like, can he be a seventh man that doesn't kill you in 15 minutes a night? That's what we're like analyzing to see if his role could be there. Yeah, Hauser was a little older when he was drafted, though. Or he wasn't even drafted, actually, when he was signed. Yeah. So I think that's where we're coming from, is like there's nuggets of things that if he improves on them and expands, like he will be a decent role player. He may never figure it out defensively. It might always be a little too fast for him. The shot might not come around, and then he's going to be out of the league. That's totally possible. Like I totally acknowledge that. But as an optimistic homer, I'm choosing to ignore that reality.
Yeah, who knows? We might just end up with one of those guys that like figures it out at the fourth year of this contract. You get a good year out of him, and he gets a bigger contract. He gets signed. So, that's a good use of a second round pick. So the second guy in the power rankings was Springer, but that's just kind of like based off.
There's nobody else.
Who else is it going to be, and how they're playing it? Because we were wondering after the first preseason game, are they going to go to the same rotation? And I wrote in that piece, I'm like, it feels like they really want Springer to get this role. They want him to take it, and I don't know, man. I thought the defense was better today. I really liked. He had a really nice screen navigation, looking a little Drew Holiday-ish. But if the comp that Celtics fans want to use because he's a Celtics player is like, can he beat Avery Bradley? Like, I don't see anywhere near as good on-ball defense, which is what Avery Bradley was always great at, and Avery Bradley was a good shooter like early on as well. So, he just. And Springer, I'm not sure if there was a mandate today to just take a ton of pull-up threes no matter who you were, because everybody that came in the game was. But Springer in particular, I was like, there was an offensive rebound that went straight back to him, and he just fired it up. Like
he took a bad one, dude. There was a hand in his face, and it's like, what are you doing, Jaden Springer? So, I think I've long been like, I just don't see it. I really don't see it. And you're right, his on-ball defense was actually really pesky. I think he had one kind of dumb foul where he fouled somebody like 45 feet away. But, he does a pretty good job of moving his feet and hounding guys, which is good. That's a skill. That's positive. The screen navigation, he navigated a few screens in the pick and roll where it was like, wow, that was picture perfect. But man, he's just got nothing offensively. Like, and I do not trust his shot to go down. His shot's like really wonky. He pulls it from like the left side of his body.
He hit one
like,
today.
Almost like, yeah, he did hit one. Yeah. But I just don't really get it with him. But I think you're kind of right. There's also like nobody who seems really close to that spot because it ain't Baylor. Baylor has looked pretty rough, man. Like really rough.
Yeah, not good for Baylor so far. I'm he's firing away though. I give him that. Yeah. Everybody's got the memo on Missoula ball, and honestly, Matt, that probably should have been something we mentioned as well. It's just like you look at first half and second half total. It's like 38% from three, 45 total threes. Like assists are there, turnovers are there. Like the machine, top to bottom, no matter who's out there, is running exactly how Joe Missoula wants it to run. And Baylor came out there and tried to do his best Missoula ball impression. It is hard. And this goes back to again, he played, how many minutes did Baylor play today? 12 today, a few more minutes. You want to see these guys playing with the main guys, the actual starters, because then you get a feel for how they're going to fit in. We don't get to see that, unfortunately. Lonnie, I think maybe looked the worst out of all of them. He looked hesitant, but then would end up still taking a bad pull-up, mid-range jumper as well. He took 2 mid-range jumpers, and I'm like, oh man, this is just not looking good, man. I understand the talent's there, and he's proven that he can play in the NBA, but right now, and obviously he's been the team and for a short amount of time. And I know RJ, he always talks about the value of being in the system, and I think you can tell Walsh in particular knows the system and is able to function in there. But Lonnie, I think we're all super hopeful, right? But you see the visions of him going nuclear from 3 and dunking on people, but right now with the Exhibit 10 contract, I don't know how you if you're betting on this, it's heavy odds for him to not make the team, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he'll end up in Maine. I wonder, they'll probably just keep that roster spot open to save a little money.
Which means he'll be picked up by someone else, surely, probably. Right? The Knicks, you'd think, would need someone like Lonnie Walker after losing Dante DiVincenzo or something like that, right?
Yeah, damn, he'd be such a perfect fit on New York.
Yeah.
That'd be really annoying. But yeah, you're right. Or Miami would turn him into a 20-point per game guy or something. So yeah, I think he's probably not going to be a Celtic this year with the way he's played. But so DJ Daniel in the chat says Walker's so much better than Springer. I agree. He's not really showed it though. He's looked pretty lost, which I don't think is totally his fault. And he's caught because like you said, Jake, he's just showed up to the team and he seems caught in between, he's just trying to stand out clearly. And that's how you start looking really bad, when you start forcing it. And he was 0 for 4 today. But before we keep going here, I should probably get into our game time ad. Alrighty, West Virginia University football just lost an absolute heartbreaker to our biggest rival, University of Pittsburgh, on this last Saturday. That just means WVU's primed to make a comeback this season. I'll be using Game Time to go to the next WVU game and watch them make their way to the Big 12 title, hopefully. Game Time has this new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time's not just great for sports. I was looking at tickets for one of my favorite bands, Lake Street Dive, who's playing in Pittsburgh in October. Super easy. Jumped on Game Time, typed in the band name, found the show. They had a super deal on floor tickets that actually made them cheaper than general admission. One of my favorite features too is the all-in pricing that you can toggle on, which shows you the full price of the ticket before you go to checkout. No surprise fees at checkout. And definitely check out those Game Time picks. They curate the events to make it easier for you to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Woo! I'm sure everyone cares, but WVU has won 2 straight games.
Let's go.
3-2. Yeah, let's go, baby. Killed Oklahoma State. Alrighty, so I think on this game, Cornette, super solid again. Very just classic Derek White game.
Dude.
Drew.
On Derek White. I got a clip from the presser. Tatum and Derek did a press conference together. If you haven't seen it, watch it now. Obviously, it's fantastic.
You're crashing the boards, offensive boards quite a bit. You're always on those 50-50 balls. Is this something that you were, that you were like this as a player since early on? Is it something that you learned when you got to the league? It's quite impressive, actually.
You too. Yeah, but I was impactful. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, very impactful. But those are the things. Yeah,
I put words in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, you're really all over the place, honestly.
Yeah, I'm just out there, just trying to create, create plays. Any chance we can get extra possession or steal a possession, we got to take advantage of it. And I watched Peyton have a lot of success last year with this, so I thought I would try it.
PP shout out.
Is that not the best Tatum clip we've ever gotten? He just can we do everyone a favor and put Derek and Tatum up there together, because both of them are don't want to be up there. When they're up there alone, Tatum turns into Mr. Monotone and Derek is like and doesn't know what to do and say. Those guys up there together were just having fun and actually gave you like a good little clip. That was awesome, dude. Tatum picking up the theme, being like,
two.
Right.
I was impactful, is what he's saying. Yeah,
he was.
Yeah,
he was.
I mean, there's obviously another side to Jason Tatum that he does not let the public see, and I'd want to see. Just give me some nibbles of that, JT.
I don't even,
a little bit.
Maybe there's how not. To share it. No. I'm just I just think the cameras turn on, and it just goes goes
politician.
Away. And even whether it's on purpose or not, he doesn't know how to be Anthony Edwards in the way that he the reverse happens when the camera comes on. So get these two up there. It brings the best out of both of them. But it is interesting. I'm not sure if that reporter is reading more into anything. Because Derek White's always active on the boards and stuff like that. I'm not sure. Can we read into him saying, I saw Peyton Pritchard, we had a lot of success crashing the offensive boards last year. Pritchard obviously, it's his mission anytime he steps on the court to get every offensive rebound he can. Does Derek White make it more of a priority this year? Potentially. Or was he just doing typical Derek White stuff, making plays?
Yeah, I think it's probably more that. I can't imagine Joe's going to be go hit the offensive glass D-White. He probably wants him getting back on defense.
Well, they crash from the corner when they're there, and then that's it.
Right, exactly. So it'll depend, but he's good at this type of stuff. He's really good at reading where the ball is going to carry him off. And I wouldn't be shocked if he's got a couple more games in him where he has 3 offensive rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds. He's Derek White, man. He'll probably be in the finals. He'll get 6 in a game or something like that. That's what he does. So, I don't anticipate us changing strategy too much to be let's go get offensive boards with our guards, but it would be kind of fun. I don't know, man.
They already do it. Drew grabs a ton anyway, so they already are getting mixed up in there. We have to talk about 2 people we haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
Xavier Tillman.
Hauser. Okay.
And Hauser. Those are the 2. So Tillman hit a top of the key 3 today.
He did. I was no, and then it splashed it. He looks good.
Hey man, it's so far it's happening. I look like the idiot so far, which is great news. I couldn't be happier. If he is now a shooter, I don't even know what to make. It would be such a heist if all of a sudden he's a fucking shooter. It would be so insane.
Dude, it would be absolutely nuts. I want to see him do it in this hemisphere.
That would be
great. But dude, it just changes his ceiling as a player to such a different level, especially he's hitting him above the break, which I don't think is a reality. But even the corner 3, Nick NBA says when he made that 3, I ran into a wall. And also check out Nick NBA's awesome. YouTube. Yeah, he's really good. He's awesome. Great follow on Twitter too. It just alternates what he is as a player so much to have to cover him from 3. It's hilarious because it is not the most beautiful looking jump shot, but dude, he's shown a little bit of it previously in his career. It's like not totally out of nowhere, and it's like the Joe Mazzulla touch, man. He's like, shoot them all, shoot every single one. Dudes just get confident, and that's all it takes.
Sprinkle a little Brad Stevens dust.
Yeah,
little left over from Aaron Baines, all of Australia.
Amir Johnson.
It flicked off the end. I mean. It'd be actually more weird if a big man came to the Boston Celtics and didn't get good at shooting, whether it's Daniel Tice. I'm not sure Enes Freedom figured it out, but I'm not sure I can count him.
He didn't figure out anything.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Kelly Olynyk, we've got a long lineage of these big men figuring out how to shoot, so and it does look good. I was just always like, I get that it looks good, but I see the numbers. I don't know why. The free throw numbers aren't good either, really. So, but if he's confidently taking them and when they're open, there's no reason for him not to throughout the season. To me, it's just funny. He's got the green light now, and we talked about this in the playback. But Luke Cornett either doesn't have the green light or he's decided he's not going to shoot threes. And I get that Cornett's the better vertical spacer. You want him more around the basket, but 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Open on the wing, he still doesn't even look to attempt a 3-pointer. He still is looking for the handoff to set someone else up. And I'm just it's so interesting to me, someone that has been a shooter historically, to not even and in those situations go for it. But Tillman, that's really all I have to say about Tillman. It's the shooting continues to be a story, and he continues to make them. So
yeah,
going back to Game 3 of the finals, I think he's he's 1 for 1 in the playoffs, and now he's
2 or 3 or 3 or 4?
3 or 4. So this guy's hot, man. This guy's hot.
Yeah, he's real hot. And dude, he had some wild 2-man game shit with Kata.
Yes. Oh my God.
Where is this coming from? Yeah, it was beautiful.
He's good.
Yeah, man, he's really good at basketball. And shout out to Kata. We were pretty critical of him. I thought he looked a little bit more comfortable
he was much better
this
today.
game, which a lot better today. So that's good. But Hauser, Ben once referred to Hauser as Carmelo Anthony of the mid-range as a joke. Is it coming true? I think it might be coming true.
It is coming true. How many did he have today? Was it 3?
I think he had 3. Yeah, then went 3 or 4 from mid-range.
I mean, it makes sense. When you originally, I think, talked about it last year. Because he's not going to be a good rim finisher. Can he, when people are selling out to run him off the line, just get all the way downhill and take these 8 to 12 foot jump shots, and there'd be no reason for him to not be able to make them. And now it's okay, so now he starts making these threes. People start running him off the line, starts making some mid-range jumpers, and then people are now closing out on the mid-range, and then now you got passing lanes opening everywhere. He's a very smart, capable passer as well. I'm loving the development, man. One of my favorite plays in the playoffs, the Mavs kind of sold out to shut down a Hauser 3-pointer, and it kind of ended up that Drew Holiday side pick and roll, finds Drew on the short roll, Drew drives, Jaylen cuts, dunk. I've watched that play a million times. It's just these little pieces of Hauser's game keep coming together. It's good. It's good.
It's crazy, man. And the one he missed, I'm pretty sure he got to it. He had a little wiggle off the dribble, man. He did that low push through dribble on somebody and pulled it back, and I was like, whoa, where the hell did that come from? But I have a take on Hauser.
Okay.
I think he's going to shoot better than 50% from 3 this year. I think he shoots 50% or better from 3. I think he has his core every year. He has solved shooting. He doesn't even touch the rim, dude. It's crazy. All 3 of his, they barely hit the net. They were so perfectly in the middle of the rim. It was crazy. I think he's going to shoot 50%.
I mean, Bino's in the chat. Hauser is so good at getting the ball in the basket. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, from far away.
From really far away. He did go 2 for 8 in the first game.
Yeah, but now he's 5 for 11. That's pretty close.
Hey, pretty close. It's definitely in the range of outcomes, I think. I think that's pretty obvious, pretty clear. He shot 42%, I think, last year. I think for his career as a Celtic, he's at 42, 43%, which is bananas level
it's crazy.
shooting anyway. I like that we both used the same fruit analogy there. Yeah, 42.2% for his career as a Celtic on like 800 plus attempts, and he hasn't had a season under 40% like since people started tracking his 3-point attempts. So we're talking about almost a decade of 3-point shooting now. I mean, DiVincenzo, we got to see if his percentage holds, because last year was really his first year at that crazy volume and that accuracy. He had turned into a good shooter. So let's see if that holds. But I mean, I think I saw yesterday in the T-Wolves preseason game, he was like getting hot, maybe went 3 for 3. DiVincenzo's maybe got a bit more of a trigger and able to get to some spots in a way that Hauser isn't. Yeah, he's just faster,
just quicker. Right? Yeah.
So,
yeah, and that DJ Daniel, if you're listening on podcast, asked Hauser DiVincenzo. I think if DiVincenzo shooting holds, I think he's probably the better player. I actually think Sam might be a better defensive player, which is crazy to say. Or he's just certainly bigger and can guard a different variety of guys. But DiVincenzo's got like some legitimate creation abilities, like on ball, can run a pick and roll. Like Hauser, it's fun to be like, hey, he drives his closeout and makes a nice pass. That's great. But like DiVincenzo, you're like, hey, run a pick and roll, and he can like hit a pull up off of it, So I think DiVincenzo's certainly got the more varied offensive game, but it's close, man, and it's pretty crazy. DiVincenzo was like a first round pick and has been like highly touted his whole career, and I think you can legitimately say I'd rather have Sam Hauser at this point, which is pretty nuts for how far Sam has come. But dude, he's just really good. He's really good at basketball now, and he's just really smart. So I have real quick before we move on though. Yeah, I think I'm becoming a Drew Peterson guy.
Oh, he's got
some shit to his game. Like there's something there with like guys kind of have a hard time staying in front of him. And when you're that big and can shake dudes off the dribble, that's like a foundation of a player you can build off of. He's a mess defensively. Like it is bad defensively. And I don't know if I trust his shot all the way, although he 1 for 1 today, but I don't know, dude. I see like the Nuggets there. I know we talked a lot about him last show, so I don't want to like belabor the point, but I think I'm just like, I want to stake my claim on Drew Peterson Island right now.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like his game. I do like his game. As I said, like he can just do a little bit of everything on offense. Is that shooting real? Is that shooting legit? He's not a Hauser level shooter, but he's also more of a ball handler than Hauser is. He's so fucking skinny, dude. Like
I know it's painful
for how old he is. Like Hauser is similar age, and like Hauser's got some girth to him, which is like really important. So it's like it's great that you're 6'8", which helps to get your shot off and stuff like that. Being able to like holding your line on drives, and then also defensively, it's a little bit tough. And so it's like hard to see him gaining too much weight. But I see it. I see it. But a good guy to have in the pipeline. Like if he's able to like put enough together and develop like enough of those skills to a point where, again, we're talking like, can you be a valuable 9th, 10th man here, right? Like that's what we're talking about, these guys, which would be great.
Yeah, for sure. And I think functionally, like you remember how Rob Williams was like listed as like 6'8.5", but he played a lot taller because he had a really short neck. So his like shoulders were the same height as like a 6'10" guy. So he was like functionally 6'10".
Wingspan.
Yeah, right. That too. Peterson's neck is really long, so I think he's like listed 6'9", but he's functionally like 6'7", which hurts him a little bit. Like I know this is crazy, but I truly believe that's the case.
It's accurate.
He's not that tall for being 6'9".
Wow. That's what people don't. What scouts need to. That's the market inefficiency right here.
That's right. That neck height,
his neck length, dude. Yeah, he's listed at 6'9", but he's really like 6'11", dude, because that's a tiny neck.
Yeah, his neck. He barely has one. Yeah.
He's a no neck guy.
It's like a belt.
Yeah. Oh, he's a no neck guy. It's like he's got an inverted wingspan. He's got like he's got a short neck. That's huge.
All right, yeah, this guy's gonna be a beast. Yeah.
19, long arms, no neck. We got him, dude.
You won't believe this necklace prospect I'm scouting. He's gonna be a star, dude.
Literally no neck.
Can't turn his head. But other than that, he's a beast.
Awesome.
All right.
And Drew Peterson's the opposite. Oh, man.
Exactly. All right. I think, is that all you have? I mean, there's not much to talk about as a team holistically, just because this team fucking rocks and they are a well-oiled machine. So, like, the preseason is pretty meaningless to these guys. But real quick, Nuggets, we were hating on their depth. I think Strother has looked really good. Otherwise, I think we're pretty right to be hating on their depth. I don't know. Anybody change your mind?
No, I think you're right. I think they got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 8. Because I like Saric. I like Saric
a lot.
So Saric, Strother, and Westbrook off the bench. I mean, Westbrook's probably could end up doing more damage than bad.
Yes,
but I've been like, I think Strother's probably going to be able to play offensively. I think he's gonna be able to rip the cords playing with Jokic, because he got injured earlier last year and he was never kind of able to get back into the rotation. So I wonder defensively, I think, and that's the problem. I think if you're talking about a Celtics matchup, like you got to try and limit your weaknesses out there on both ends. Yeah, they're a good Lonnie Walker destination from Nick in the chat. Like that would definitely be a talent infusion for them, but I think it's pretty clear that Denver is still the one team that you don't want to see in the finals, because Jokic is the one guy that I don't think anyone really has an answer for, but the Celtics don't really have an answer for. Obviously, no Horford, no Porzingis in these games, so like that changes things significantly, because I think you can put Horford on Jokic as like the primary, and you have Porzingis roaming off Aaron Gordon as like this in like you try and mirror what Minnesota did in the playoffs last year with those two guys. So you don't have those two guys out there, but like that's the one guy that can get the Celtics into rotation. No one else can do it consistently, I don't think so. But yeah, so seeing the Strother give them a little something. You don't really like that, honestly, because you don't want to see them be good enough to make the finals.
I know, right? Yeah, it's very disappointing that Strother's pretty good. Though I think you're right, though. Like, I was not super impressed with Strother's defense, and we were going right at him. And I felt like coming out of his draft, like I knew nothing about him. I always heard like he had good size. He looks small out there to me, so he's more of a 2 than a 3. And you need wings to guard the Celtics. And like they just like I don't really get the vision on like Kankar, Tyson, like they Pickett, all these dudes that are just like the same guy. Doesn't really make a ton of sense to me, but Strother's all right. Yeah, I'm a big Saric guy. And then Westbrook is just such a wild card.
7.5. I think regular season Westbrook's going to be fine, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is like the ultimate test, because Jokic is so good at making guys like look good. And Westbrook is so good at making things like the 10%.
Card.
Oh man, like the bad 10% of Westbrook is so freaking loud, because it comes up in like the worst possible moments at times. Like he just takes stuff off the table after he puts really good dinner on the table, but then always knocks a plate off the table at the same time. It's like, really appreciate you made me this dinner, but now I've got glass in my feet at the same time.
Yeah, you spilled the gravy everywhere. Yeah.
and like the gravy was so like pretty much like the best part of the meal.
Right. Oh man, I can't wait for the missed Westbrook threes in the first round of the playoffs, and Jokic just like no.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So are we gonna do? I think we're good on the game. We've already done 52 minutes. Are we gonna do the voicemail for my cousin?
Oh yeah, we got a voice. Oh, we'll save the voicemail for your cousin for the Patreon.
Okay, we'll do it for the Patreon.
You gotta sign up.
Subscribe.
You gotta sign up to
hear it's only $4. Yeah.
To hear Spoonie's cousin ask a very, very good and important question.
Super important question.
Yeah. So
Shit.
But yeah, man, we'll be back at another point later in the week with a free episode, probably previewing the rest of the preseason and probably some other broader stuff. We haven't even talked about Jaylen Hot One's appearance yet, so really important stuff. But I'm excited for the over-unders tomorrow for Eastern Conference, which should be fun.
Yeah, that should be a good time. And I think, we got the next show coming up, and then I think we have a week off of games.
We do, yeah.
Yeah,
Six
playback
is on Saturday ET Eastern time.
So Jake, I'm sure you will be kicking off the playback again in a week's time, but that's going to do it for this one. We are out.